Welcome to this explainer. It's so fascinating to dive into the source material today because we're looking at a literal life or death, high stakes, microscopic battle, and it's happening inside our bodies every single day. If you've ever found yourself wondering how on earth the body actually manages to survive a world that is just teeming with invisible threats, well, this breakdown is absolutely for you. Let's get right into it.
So, right off the bat, here is the central mystery we're gonna unravel today. If our immune system is so incredibly powerful, why do we need two completely different strategies to fight off a single infection? I mean, why not just have one ultimate invincible shield to handle the whole shebang? Well, the answer actually lies in the pretty harsh realities of biology.
Section 1, One infection, two immunities, the race against time. Okay, let's dive into this. The ultimate biological problem we're facing here is that pathogens multiply incredibly fast, like really fast. Waiting days to organize your ultimate defense could easily be fatal. So to solve this literal race against time, the body utilizes two distinct branches. You've got innate immunity, which prioritizes pure speed. It's ready to act in just minutes or hours. And then adaptive immunity, which sacrifices that initial speed for absolute pinpoint precision over a period of days. Section 2, Innate immunity, the immediate early warning. When a pathogen breaches your borders, these are your biological first responders. We're talking everything from physical barriers to macrophages and dendritic cells, all the way to the chemical attacks of the complement system. What makes these components so fascinating in the literature is that they're always present. They're locked, loaded, and ready to strike instantly. They don't need to be built from scratch. Now, the secret to this incredible speed really comes down to pattern recognition receptors, or PRRs. You see, the innate system doesn't waste precious time checking the specific identity of every single microbe. Instead, it operates kind of like a security detail looking for general trouble. It's like hearing a window shatter in your house. You don't need to know the burglar's actual name to know you're being robbed, right? PRRs detect broad, repetitive molecular patterns to trigger an immediate, broad-spectrum alarm. Section 3. Adaptive immunity, the precise target strike. But here's the thing, because pathogens mutate constantly, speed alone just isn't enough. Enter the highly specialized detectives, B lymphocytes, which deploy antibodies, and T lymphocytes, which handle the up-close cell-to-cell combat. The most striking takeaway from the sources here is the sheer receptor diversity. Even before an infection ever happens, your body maintains this massive pool of lymphocytes with the pre-existing potential to match almost any unknown threat you could possibly imagine. It's wild. However, with such a vast array of receptor diversity, only a tiny, tiny fraction of your cells are an actual match for any specific disease at first. Finding that one specific lymphocyte that perfectly fits the invader, that is a massive biological aha moment, and it's known as clonal selection. That one matching cell is essentially pulled from millions of others to lead the targeted counterattack. Let's move through this and see how it builds. Once that matching antigen is recognized, the specific lymphocyte activates. But obviously, just a few cells can't fight off a systemic infection. So it undergoes clonal expansion. It multiplies massively into a giant army of clones. Then these differentiate into specialized effector cells, finally launching a perfectly tailored response. As you can see, this multi-step process is a pretty huge bottleneck. And that brings us to a really critical realization. The initial delay of the adaptive immune system, it's not a biological flaw at all. Actually, scratch that. It's a completely necessary cost. It simply takes days to achieve that perfect specificity and to build a massive, perfectly tailored army from just a handful of selected cells. Moving to Section 4, the bridge. Dendritic cells connecting two worlds. So you might be wondering, how do these wildly different systems actually communicate with each other? Well, it all comes down to antigen plus context. Dendritic cells operate right on the front lines. Capturing the invading microbe, that's the antigen. But using those innate receptors we talked about, they also capture the context of the danger. They're constantly assessing, okay, is this a virus? Is it a bacteria? Just how much tissue damage is happening here? These dendritic cells then physically travel to the lymph nodes to deliver this exact package. Because adaptive immunity needs way more than just the antigen. It activates based on that contextual briefing. The dendritic cell is basically showing up and saying, hey, here is exactly who the enemy is, and here is exactly how dangerous they are. So deploy this specific type of weapon. Section 5, Synergy, a defense system completed together.
These systems aren't just taking turns, they're in constant, active conversation. In the first few minutes and hours, the innate system steps in and buys time. Days later, the adaptive system, having been fully briefed, expands and clears the threat. But the best part is post-infection, where memory cells remain. The adaptive system remembers the exact profile, which means any future return of that bug faces a devastatingly fast response.
The absolute most elegant way to distill this entire dynamic is this: innate immunity detects and instructs. Adaptive immunity specializes and amplifies. Think of the innate system as the scout and the commander on the ground, while the adaptive system acts as your specialized heavy artillery. But get this, the teamwork actually goes both ways. Once the adaptive system creates its highly specialized antibodies, it hands those weapons right back to the front lines. Antibodies coat the microbes, making it exponentially easier for the innate phagocytes to recognize and devour the threat. They literally make each other better. So the crucial point here is that survival requires all four of these pillars working in perfect harmony. You need the speed of the innate system just to survive day one, the specificity of the adaptive system to hit the exact target, amplification to match a rapidly multiplying virus, and memory to ensure you don't have to fight the exact same war twice. Section 6. Clinical Reality. Integration in Modern Medicine. Now, understanding this synergy isn't just cool trivia, it is the absolute foundation of modern medicine. Think about vaccines for a second. We know they train the adaptive system to build memory cells. But if you just inject a dead virus fragment, the body might completely ignore it because there's no danger context. That is exactly why vaccines include adjuvants. These are ingredients that intentionally trigger the innate alarm bells, providing that vital danger context so the adaptive system actually learns the lesson. And the exact same logic applies to the absolute cutting edge of cancer immunotherapy. Tumors have antigens, sure, but the immune system often just ignores them. Doctors now understand that simply having a target isn't nearly enough. They literally have to engineer the right innate danger signals, the right context, to instruct those adaptive killer T cells to actually form an attack. This entirely changes how we view disease as a whole. The most important question in medicine today isn't just, is this an innate or an adaptive problem? The real question, the one that matters, is how are they connected in this specific situation? Health is this deeply interconnected communication network, not just isolated cellular parts acting alone. Which leaves us with a pretty profound final thought to ponder. We've seen how perfectly these two systems communicate, how innate context acts as the trigger for adaptive memory. If our immune system absolutely relies on this incredible dual memory teamwork to survive everyday threats, how might we eventually master that communication to train our bodies to recognize and defeat the diseases it currently just ignores? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.